Hello YouTube, this is Krashik and welcome to another very exciting video. Today is a very special day as we received the Feature Discovery Series Episode 1, World. I want to mention before starting, we are going to be discussing what we see today in this video on the channel's Discord. Link is on the description, hope to see you there. Let's continue. Let's begin by watching that video. It's gonna be about 10 minutes long. While watching the video, I'm gonna be taking some notes. I'm gonna discuss a little bit about what we learned at the end of the video, and I'm gonna finish with the other updates that we have from the Microsoft Flight Simulator team. So I hope you enjoy. Let's dive in.
Hi everyone, I'm Lionel Fuentes, lead engine programmer here at Asobo Studio. We are developing the next generation of Microsoft Flight Simulator. As you can see behind me, people are hard at work testing the current work in progress version that we have. So when we started working on Microsoft Flight Simulator, that was at the same time scary and super exciting because there are so many things to do. I will talk about one of the biggest things that we had to do, and this is a key feature for flight simulators, that is the world. I will speak about the world through 4 main points. I will speak about the data sources, the augmentations from those data sources that we could compute on Azure, more on this later, a little bit about the impact on bandwidth, and then some procedural generation techniques that we developed. So, the world, our planet, is really beautiful. It is full of natural wonders, from Ayers Rock to the Himalayan mountains, to also man-made features like the Statue of Liberty, Mont Saint-Michel, the Tour Eiffel. So we wanted to get all of those features in the simulator for you to enjoy. So when we started doing this, we realized how much the world is big. The world is really big, and to the point that we even had to change the internal way we represent a 3D point in space in our engine, like from single precision floating point to double precision floating point, because we couldn't handle that big of a world. And the biggest impact of this was on the amount of data, because you need a lot of data to represent the world. Luckily enough, Bing Maps was here with 2 petabytes of aerial imagery, elevation data, 3D scans for a select number of cities. So all of this data were there, sitting, ready for us to stream in the simulator. This allowed us to get all the airports in the world, which we estimate to more than 40,000, to get all the cities across the world, which we estimate to more than 2 million, to get all the roads in the world, to get all the mountains in the world. Basically, the entire world is there available for you to fly. Not only do you have the entire world, but it also matches the real world. And the big consequence for this is that now VFR flying is available for you everywhere. So for those of you that don't know what VFR means, it means Visual Flight Rules, and it's a way of flying your aircraft by relying on visual cues in the environment, like where you see a given city or a given river. So for example, when in real life we do some piloting, and when in the DR400 we can see the Garonne River here and the city of Martillac there, we can deduce where we're going. The amazing thing is that now we can recreate this very experience right inside the simulator. So I encourage you, once you get the chance to try it, to fly over your house. So we got all those data, but then we needed really more data than that. The reason we needed those data is because we still didn't know where to place trees. We still didn't know what shape building should have, and what color its roof should be, what is the type of roof over there. So in order to generate those additional data, we relied on Azure Cloud Computing. Azure allowed us to run AI algorithms and computer vision algorithms in order to detect all the trees in the world, which we estimate to more than 1.5 trillion. It allows us to improve the building's generation system by detecting the color of the roofs or the roof type. It also adds us to add missing buildings information where we don't have those information in the data sources we use. It also allows us to improve on the quality of Bing Maps aerial imagery. Like sometimes some area can be captured with clouds on top of them, and then we can detect those and replace them with texture synthesis that happens at runtime. So to put some images on what I'm talking about, this is an island in near New Guinea. If we only had Bing Maps data there, the island would be kind of flat and you wouldn't have the trees and the buildings. So thanks to the detection that we could run on Azure, we know where to place trees, we know where to place buildings, we know what the buildings should look like, and this allows us to create a much more believable and precise / accurate representation of the Earth. But what about the impact of my internet connection? Because at this point, you may be wondering, we are streaming all of those data, like Bing Maps data, Azure augmentation data. We represent the entire world. So what happens if I don't have high bandwidth available? What happens if even I have no internet connection at all? We ask ourselves this very question, and I'd like to answer it through 3 main points. The first one is that we do adaptive streaming. What this means is that we measure real-time the bandwidth you're using and adapt our bandwidth requirements according to this measure. The net result of this is that the better your bandwidth, the better your overall experience. Next, we developed a full offline mode. So this is for the extreme case where you have 0 available bandwidth. We synthesize the ground textures. And we also still have all the buildings data and all the water data, and for some regions also the trees data. So the result of this is that we still have a world where VFR flying is possible. It gives us a reasonably accurate representation of the world. And the third point is that we can pre-cache arbitrary regions of the world. What this means here is that you can select regions of the world that you want to pre-cache, and you can access them in an offline setting while still having the same quality you would enjoy in an online setting. To put some images again on those words, I will show the 3 different quality levels that you can experience. First one here, offline mode. This is the Seattle area in offline. And as you can see, all the buildings are there, all the water information is there, and the city is recognizable. Second here is online Paris. So the majority of buildings here are being automatically generated, and you also have the water information, and it's a more accurate version of the world. And here again, VFR flying is possible. And third here is where we have the best quality. This is the city of New York. You may have recognized it. This is when we have photogrammetry data available in Bing Maps for more than 400 cities. But now, how about the fine details? Because it is impossible to accurately capture all the very fine details of the world. Like you cannot know exactly where each blade of grass is or which precise details you have on a given building. So in order to add this level of precision to Microsoft Flight Simulator, we relied on procedural generation. We are adding ground details for dirt, grass and asphalt. We generate grass blades, actual 3D geometric grass blades. We display millions of them on screen. We also add water shading up to the point that we even have the water affected by the wind, which creates waves on the water. We also add night lights both along the roads and on the buildings. We also add details to the buildings, and all of this helps create a much more believable world. As you can see here, this is taken in Bretagne, France. And as you can see, you have the procedural grass being generated. You have those little houses that are generated. You also have those trees that are being generated procedurally. You also have the water shading for the sea. And it gives a much more realistic representation of the area. So this is it for the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator. We hope you really enjoy it as much as we do. Thank you very much.
All right, well, that was absolutely awesome. Just to summarize what we just saw, basically this was divided into 4. It was the data sources, the augmentation of data, impact of bandwidth, and the procedural generation of finer detail. Regarding the data sources, we know Bing Maps is the one facilitating the data. The data is all the cities, all the airports, all the roads, all the mountains. This enables VFR to be possible anywhere in the world inside the simulator. Now jumping into augmentation of data. Basically here is where the Azure server kicks in. The Azure servers with its AI is able to detect all the trees, improve the generation, add all those missing buildings, and improve the overall quality of the Bing Maps aerial images. Now jumping into impact of bandwidth. Obviously, a lot of people are concerned about their internet connection, and Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to be offering 3 levels of quality. The first one, and the main one, is the adaptive streaming. The bandwidth required will adapt to the bandwidth available. Obviously, the better bandwidth you have, the better quality you will have. Then we also have offline mode, which will still be able to produce a reasonable VFR experience. And also we have the other version that is kind of a mixture between both, that is the pre-cache version. It has a bit of the online experience, but in an offline scenario. Obviously, you must select what you're gonna be going to pre-cache. If you go outside the pre-cache area, you will basically go into offline mode. And now let's jump into the last point, the procedural generation fine detail. Basically, it can be considered fine detail, the ground details, the dirt, grass, asphalt, all those grass blades, the water, the night lights, building details. All of that is going to be procedural generated. So all around you in any quality that you are playing, you should be able to see great fine detail in your simulator. And with that, we finish with the Feature Discovery Series Episode 1 World. Absolutely amazing. A lot of information was already out there, but it's nice to see firsthand and know a little bit more about those details. And now let's jump to more information from the Microsoft Flight Simulator team. Something really interesting I want to talk about is about the feedback pipeline that they are mentioning. Basically, they are letting us know that they have a feedback dashboard, a dashboard that is containing a summary of all the feedback that they have been collecting from the community. And that feedback is being prioritized and assigned into a plan of action. They will provide the output of this pipeline to the community in a document tentatively called the feedback snapshot on a regular basis, which I think it is really cool that we're going to be having that. Obviously, the global preview event that they had recently generated a lot of feedback regarding the simulator. They already have features like ATC, Seasons, VR, Rotorcraft, SDK, etc., which can be found in the feedback snapshot along with their current plan for the next steps and timelines for resolution. The feedback snapshots will be released at a regular intervals as discussed, and they will announce the date for the first preview release on the next update. Alright, so stick around for the next update, that's going to be really interesting. Now jumping a little bit into the tech alpha, a lot of you may be interested on that. In 5 days, that would be on the 15th of this month, recruitment for Tech Alpha will be ending, so if you have not filled the survey at the time being, please do so, there is not much time remaining. From the 17th to the 24th of this month, they are going to be sending out the acceptance confirmations for the Tech Alpha, so if you were accepted between these dates, you will be receiving your confirmation. On the 24th of this month, the release window opens. They will start granting access to the Tech Alpha to those of you who have received an acceptance confirmation. Now this is Tech Alpha number 1. They are currently targeting mid-end November for the second build release, the Tech Alpha number 2. They expect to open recruitment for that one closer to the end of October, but we should know more about that on the next update being in 1 week, the 17th. Development roadmap update and episode 2 information will be coming also with the next update. Alright, so now you know this was a very awesome update. The next update comes in 1 week, so stick around. If you haven't, like and subscribe. Happy flying, cross check out.